My name is Vickie Fisher, and I am a licensed clinical social worker and a clinical counseling supervisor, as well as a certified trauma professional. I work at Maine Behavioral Health Organization in Augusta and Skowhegan, and I am the clinical director of the agency. And to get to that point, I've had many jobs along the way. I started out working with children as a rehab specialist, and went on to be a foster home developer, a case manager supervisor, worked for Muskie for a while, and have worked in quality and compliance. So it was a bit of a journey to get to this point. And I think I tried to think of the reason why I chose this field, and I think I was always interested in helping people as I look back on things. I was a foster parent at a fairly young age, and I remember working with the DHS workers, and there was so much that I wanted for the children that I had in my home. I was like, I can do a better job than this, I know I can. Now, of course, I know all the things that they're up against as well, but that was part of my motivation for going back to school and finishing that. And then after I worked in the field for a while, I went on to my master's degree, and I really enjoyed that, having an opportunity to do one-on-one counseling with people and really be involved in their lives and the lives of our staff as well. And I think that that's one of the things that I enjoy the most. I enjoy seeing people be able to change, and not just my clients that I work with. I love working with people who have trauma and watching them to be able to move beyond that so they can actually live their lives. But I also love having brand new staff come in to work in our agency, particularly the counselors that are just out of their graduate program, and watching them grow and having them experience the work. And that's probably one of my favorite things that I do, is teaching the staff and watching clients get better. Some of the challenges to our work, and all of you that go into the field will find this as you go along, is that policies are always changing. And staff can get very, very upset about that, because sometimes that makes a lot of extra paperwork and things for people, and they're like, oh no, this agency, but all the agencies that you work for are going to have policies that they're going to come up against and change, and it's just really working together to make those things work and to be able to be in compliance. But the most important thing, I think, in the work, more than the paperwork, which you will face, is having a passion for working with the clients, having a passion for changing their lives and making a difference. I think back on all of the experiences, and there's been so many of seeing people change. I remember one of a homeless man that was living in a little shack, and being able to find housing for him and helping him live a better life and not be taken advantage of. And one of the things that touched my heart a lot early on in my work is I was working as a case manager with a rehab worker, and we went to meet with a foster parent and the little child who'd been quite difficult in the home, and she had her things packed up and said to take her, and we're like, we can't just take her. So we made a lot of calls, and we drove around with her all day, making her happy, taking her to McDonald's, playing in the balls with her, doing all of these things, while behind the scenes one of us would be going to call and see if any of the foster parents were available, talk to the DHS worker and all those things. And by the end of the day, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock, we did have a home for her where she was able to really grow and eventually be adopted. So I think that in this work, one of the things that's important is, yes, putting a schedule together, but that schedule doesn't always work out. People and life get in the way. So I think it's important to always think of what's most important right now. And at that moment, I had plenty of meetings and other parents that I needed to visit that day. But right that day, that little girl was the most important thing, and we found a home for her. So as you go into this field, there's days that will be extremely overwhelming. But there's days that are so special where you really connect with people and you really make a difference. And I think that that's where it's important to be in this work and to settle yourself, to be mindful, to be passionate about the people that you're around, and to be doing this work because you really want to. It's much more than just a job. It's a lifestyle.